Well, got a new ATV, got a 2022 Suzuki King Quad 750. Just put the mirrors on, front and rear bumpers, and a winch. Otherwise, it's identical to how it came. There's the old, phenomenal 2018 Polaris Sportsman XP 1000 or 1000xp, however you want to say it. It's been phenomenal. It's our second set of Polarises. We've had really good luck with them, but we want to try some other things. So we will be comparing this Suzuki to this Polaris, the 1000 and our 570 in our future videos. And in a lot of our group rides, we'll have some different ATVs, mainly Polarises right now. And we will be comparing, how does the Suzuki, how does it keep up with the 850s, 1000s, and 570s, and we even have a 450 in the group. Have noticed on the Suzuki, the power steering is a bit stiffer. The Polaris power steering you could ride with your pinky. It's really good at the lower speeds. It does get shaky at higher speeds, even if you get about 40 miles an hour on the Polaris. I have not ridden this Suzuki yet other than loading it. So I did notice the clutch engagement to be very smooth and the clutch shifting, the gear shifting here to be extremely smooth. There is not parking, which you'll notice in other videos, people saying they don't like it. It's not going to be an issue, I don't think. Very smooth though. I would say smoother than the Polaris. So the clutch engagement and the gear shifting smoother. The power steering on the Suzuki is a little bit stiffer. Here you have the softest, most plush ride I believe you can get in the industry. If you want something that has power, smooth, the overall package, you can't go wrong with the 850 or 1000 Polaris. Everything about it's been great. They may have an issue here or there, but nowhere near what people say. We've had one issue with it in 4.5 years. That was the one-way bearing clutch that the dealer did cover, except for we did have to purchase a new belt. This, we just hope to be very good on the trails. That's our goal. So we'll see how this 2022 Suzuki King Quad stacks up with this 2018 Polaris Sportsman 1000xp. We know the Polaris will have more power and be a little softer ride, but we do a lot of 50-inch or less trails, and let's see how it holds up. I want to do a first impression on this compared to our older ATV, or the one that I've been riding for the last 4.5 years, which is a 2018 Polaris Sportsman 1000xp. Off my first impression, I'm going to give a couple of things. I'm not going into statistics, the wheel travel and things like that, but I want to talk about some things that we use every day. The power steering. We're trail riders, we're in Michigan, and throughout Michigan, some spots in Ohio, and some other states up in the Midwest, we ride tighter trails. The power steering, I gotta give it to what I can see so far to the Polaris. You could ride this in the tight trails with your pinkies. It handles very, very well for a big, powerful machine. The power steering on the Suzuki, it does have it, but it is a little bit stiffer. Then we also want to go into the actual feel of the ride. I've only so far loaded the Suzuki, haven't really ridden it on the trails yet, but it does seem to have a stiffer ride so far. Once it breaks in a little bit, it may soften up just a little bit, but it does seem like it's going to be a phenomenal trail machine, just as this Polaris was. So when it comes to a soft plush ride, and it comes to the power steering, I have to give both to the Polaris at this point on my initial impression. This may change in some update videos. A couple other initial impression things I'd like to talk about is going to be the gear shifting. The gear shifting on the Polaris, the big bar here, and the gear shifting on the Suzuki here, the Suzuki is much smoother. And I also feel when you give each of them gas, and as you give the throttle to the Polaris here, or you give the throttle, I feel the clutch engagement of the Suzuki is smoother. So I feel like we're kind of 2 for 2 now. We have a plush ride. We have a great power steering on the Polaris. Here we have a phenomenal shifting of our gears and clutch engagement as we give it gas. So far, those are our initial impressions. Then you have the digital monitor. So as we take a look at the screens, the information on the Suzuki 2022 King Quad, it's pretty good. You have 2 buttons up here. You push, it just really goes through 2 trips and your overall miles. And then here we have service and the clock and things. It has good information. We're happy. It shows what gear it's in here, and I'm very pleased with it. But I will say I have to give the hands off on the information displayed to the Polaris. So as we pan into the screen on the Polaris, I have to give for screen information between the Polaris and Suzuki to the Polaris. This gives you the engine temperature. It's Bluetooth tied to your phone. It gives you the RPMs, the overall odometer. It gives a lot of everything the Suzuki does and more. So overall information, the Polaris screen does have a little more. The seat on the Polaris and the ride is just a little more plush. Both beautiful machines. The looks would give the edge here probably to this Polaris. This was a limited edition 2018, so it has beautiful tires, really aesthetically pleasing with the metallic paints. Gorgeous machine. This Suzuki so far, this is their upgraded paint and wheels, and we do really like it, and I'm super excited about this. It has a nice wide seat, and I think it's going to be phenomenal for the kind of riding we do. We ride in large groups with other Polaris riders, so comparing these two side by side, whether it be in the trails, the mud, sand hills, a lot of other things, we're gonna really see how this Suzuki 750 stacks up to all the Polarises, whether it's a 450, 570, 850, and 1000s. So our initial impression on these is we're really excited on our next adventure on these Suzukis. We love the Polaris. The Polaris does have some things just has you beat. The soft plush ride, I don't think there's a machine in the industry, none of the brands compare with the ride of this Polaris. So you just can't beat it. The power steering and the ride on this Polaris is that good. Where it does get shaky is when you get about 40 miles an hour, the steering gets twitchy. Here, we haven't ridden at that speed yet. I have a feeling it's gonna be very stable, but it's gonna be a little more tiresome in the tight trails. Thanks for coming into our initial impression of our new 2022 Suzuki 750. Please feel free to subscribe and like the video.